Hi everybody, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts. This is a special episode on my all-time favorite dinosaur, Tyrannosaurus Rex. And let's get started by talking about basically the size of T-Rex. Let's say it's basically between 40 to 45 feet long, probably with a height of between 13 to 19 feet tall, and weight can be estimated by 5 to 9 tons, and it's pretty substantial weight for a big carnivorous dinosaur. And let's actually kind of talk about the climate that it lived in. The climate that it actually lived in was actually very warm. It actually lived in environments like some swamplands, forested, open plains, and also in volcanic ash areas. And what I mean by that for volcanic ash areas is basically like in a volcanic area where there's like amounts of volcanic rocks, where there's been like multitudes of eruptions that have happened throughout millions of years, and also the temperatures in that kind of time were probably pretty much like in the high 80s all the way to the low 100s. It would have been really humid there too, so it would actually feel like you're in the warm tropics. So it would actually feel like you're right on top of the equator. So it's going to be pretty hot and humid. So I mean, if you're a person that likes hot, humid weather, go ahead and go back 70 million years ago, and you actually can find the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Behavior-wise, Tyrannosaurus Rex is actually really hard to depict on its behavior, but even though there has been a lot of new studies about Tyrannosaurus Rex and how it behaved, one is actually how it behaved pretty much around its environment, like how it would actually behave when it interacted with other T-Rex. And you see, the old days, back when Tyrannosaurus Rex was first discovered back in the 1900s, it was actually thought that Tyrannosaurus Rex and most other dinosaurs were slow, cold-blooded reptiles, and thought that they had no social structure whatsoever, that they were actually living alone, and they actually did not care for their young. But today is actually very different, that they're warm-blooded, caring kind of dinosaurs, caring parents, and also would live in a social group. And there's been evidence to support that Tyrannosaurus Rex and other tyrannosaurs and even other giant carnivorous dinosaurs lived in family packs, meaning that they actually lived in a pack, mainly by family members, and also it actually would hunt in a family pack. Now, the younger ones would actually be the ones that would be chasing the prey. The adults would actually be the ones to ambush the prey, to kill the prey, because the youngsters pretty much probably start hunting probably like when they're like 10 years old with the adults. That way, they can actually chase the prey towards the ambushing adults. The subadults would be the ones that would be to isolate one or two members of the herd of like a duck-billed dinosaur or triceratops, and that would actually be a really big help for the Tyrannosaurus Rex to be a very effective hunter. Now, I think probably the closest animal that can actually resemble a Tyrannosaurus Rex is the spotted hyena, and the spotted hyena is a really effective predator. Now, we actually mistake hyenas as scavengers because of basically the look, and also we always see them scavenging lion kills. But that's not always the case. A recent study has actually found out that spotted hyenas actually hunt down and kill 90% of their food instead of scavenge it. So they're pretty much hunters instead of scavengers, and that's pretty much how it actually is that they actually have to hunt down prey that they can actually catch. Lions would actually take down much tougher prey, whereas hyenas would actually take down animals that are actually not as tough, probably like the pretty much not as tough as like the Cape buffalo or the hippopotamus, but they would probably like hunt down gazelle. They would probably hunt down some antelope and even wildebeest. They would hunt down wildebeest. And with Tyrannosaurus Rex, with their prey, it's pretty much like a duck-billed dinosaurs, like a Montosaurus, and that it's a titan, and ceratopsians like Triceratops, Torosaurus, and pretty much if you want to count maybe like the Ankylosaurus, but I would probably say it would actually go after the juveniles for a good guess for that, and maybe Pachycephalosaurus, but they were really rare, so they were really rare to find, and some Ornithomimus would be really hard to catch too. So I would probably say the younger ones, if they actually hunted solo, they would catch the Ornithomimus and probably the Pachycephalosaurus. But with adults, they can catch the duck-billed dinosaurs and the ceratopsians like Triceratops. And the other way we can actually depict its behavior is by looking at the shape of the brain. And the shape of the brain of Tyrannosaurus Rex is 6 times bigger than any other dinosaur in its environment, which is really substantial. Because for a predator, you have to be smarter than the prey that you're going after. Predators are mainly supposed to be smarter than its prey. It's because they need to know the habits of the animals, and also they need to know what the defenses are of the animals, and also they need to make sure that they get what they need and also do it without injuring themselves. So it's pretty much like that you have to be very efficient to actually kill the prey that you're going after. And for this case, we have multiple injuries on Tyrannosaurus, especially the most famous one is Sue. And I've seen Sue twice, and its skeleton is still amazing to me even the 2 times I've seen it. What we see in Sue is that there's an infection in her right leg, and they don't really know what caused this infection. Either like it was caused by a bite by another Tyrannosaurus Rex, but there's no evidence to support that. But mainly from like a stab wound from a Triceratops or Torosaurus, or otherwise it might have been broken by an Ankylosaurus. Probably broken, but probably not as hard enough to actually like cripple the animal to starve to death, but probably it actually just broke it, and probably a bone actually splintered through the skin and pretty much caused the infection in the bone. But also there's broken ribs on Sue, probably from multiple attacks on prey, and also probably fights with other Tyrannosaurus Rex. And her arm bone on her left arm, it actually has an avulsion right on the humerus, which is the upper arm bone, from a detached muscle, and it's very painful for an animal that size. Even though when you actually say, well, tiny arms, Tyrannosaurus Rex, it probably felt small pain, but no. It would actually have a load of pain. It would be very painful for an animal that would actually have very functional arms. And also there's holes on the back of her jaw that are pretty much caused by a parasite that is very common to modern birds of prey that actually eat a carcass that has this parasite, pretty much transferred by another animal that actually has that parasite. And that's how it was passed on, was from another carcass to another carcass. And when we look at the brain of Tyrannosaurus Rex, we actually see that we can actually find out how strong its senses were. Let's start with the sense of smell. Tyrannosaurus Rex has an amazing sense of smell. It has the largest olfactory lobes out of any animal known alive or extinct, and that is substantial, meaning that Tyrannosaurus Rex has the most sophisticated sense of smell that has ever evolved. And when we look at its eyesight, the optic lobe, which is actually the part of the brain associated with sight, is also substantially large. And that actually shows that it has very good eyesight. But another way that we can actually show that it has really good eyesight is by looking at the skull. And when we look at the skull of Tyrannosaurus Rex here, we see right here, where my finger is at, this is the eye socket right here. And I know a lot of people would actually confuse this spot right here is where the eye goes, but it's not. The eye is just right here. And when we actually take a look at it, the eye socket is tremendously large, showing that it has large eyes. But also, when we actually look at the skull front on, if I could get this up here a little bit, we see that the eyes are actually facing forward, giving it clear binocular vision, and that is substantial for a predator. And that is really good evidence to show that it is a predator. And also in the brain, where the part where it is associated with hearing, when we look at the inner ear of Tyrannosaurus Rex, the cochlea, the part of the inner ear that is associated with hearing, is long and delicate, showing that is very long, and it shows that hearing is very important to Tyrannosaurus Rex. So it has good sense of hearing, sight, and smell. This is an all-around predator, so it actually uses all of its senses for hunting. And I think that is what I believe is Tyrannosaurus. What I believe, and many other paleontologists believe, is that Tyrannosaurus Rex is mostly a predator and probably scavenged less often. Now, with Jack Horner from Montana State University, and also works with the Museum of the Rockies, he actually believes that Tyrannosaurus Rex scavenged more often than hunted. But I don't really believe that. When we look at the animal kingdom, we actually see that there's not really an animal that actually scavenges more often than it actually hunts, because that's kind of actually out of the question. I mean, vultures probably are a consideration for that. They actually do scavenge more often than hunt, but they will hunt on occasion. But I'd say that, considering that I do believe that Tyrannosaurus Rex is equivalent to the modern day spotted hyena, it actually hunts than scavenges. So it's an opportunistic predator, but I would actually say it hunts more than scavenges. Probably 80% of the time it hunts, 20% of the time it scavenges. That's my belief. And also with Tyrannosaurus Rex, when we look at the anatomy of the skull, is that the skull is huge, and you see the snout is narrow. The snout is narrow, and also the back of the skull is wide. And also the back of the skull shows that it has huge muscles, showing that it has very powerful muscles and strong jaws to actually show that it can crush bone. And also another way for that can prove that it can crush bone is its teeth. Now, when we look at other carnivorous dinosaurs, their teeth are very thin and blade-like, in which that means is that they're only designed to slice through the meat but not get to the bone. If those dinosaurs actually hit the bone, their teeth would break off. But with Tyrannosaurus Rex, it's not the case. This tooth is wide. It's wide and also very blunt on the top, showing that it is designed to crush bone. And also these teeth are serrated, or have serrations right here that go all the way down, and that actually proves that it can cut through the muscle fibers to actually pierce through to get all the way to the bone. And these teeth are well designed to crush bone. And also they curve backwards, showing that it actually is designed to hang on to prey that is struggling. And when we actually kind of look at other parts of the anatomy of Tyrannosaurus Rex, And here, this is I've never shown you guys this before. This is a model of a Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton. And when we look at the legs of Tyrannosaurus Rex, we actually see they are long. They're long for an animal this size, showing that it's very capable of running fast. But adults are slower than the juveniles. The juveniles can probably run, if there was a 10-year-old, it would actually probably run at a speed of probably over 35 miles per hour. But adults, their average speed would be between 15 to 25 miles per hour. So it's a decrease in speed. It's because they're getting heavier so as they grow older. And that is really good evidence to support that that adults are pretty much ambush hunters. And when we look at other part of the anatomy, a lot of people draw attention to the arms of Tyrannosaurus Rex right here. They always say, man, this dinosaur's arms are so tiny. How can he actually grasp prey with these arms? It really doesn't really have to, because you see, it actually uses its teeth and its jaws to actually capture prey. Even though I do think these arms are very functional, I do think that they are well muscled and they are strong enough to lift over 400 pounds. And that is really substantial to show that these arms are very strong and they can actually probably hang on to prey. And there's multiple arm injuries on Tyrannosaurs that we actually see that there's been arms that have almost been pulled off from the socket of the shoulder, showing that it probably did hunt more often. It probably grasped the prey to actually try to kill it. And a good thing and a good part of the anatomy to actually prove that dinosaurs are linked to birds is this thing right on top of the shoulder blades right here, the wishbone. And the wishbone is very common in birds. And birds are the direct descendant of dinosaurs. And with tyrannosaurs, they are good link to birds, along with other predatory dinosaurs. Most dinosaurs have a lot of features that are have good characteristics with birds, and birds are good models to study dinosaurs, especially ostriches. When you actually see an ostrich running, you can look at it today and kind of think, wonder what it would be like to see a dinosaur running through the open plains. And that would be an unbelievable sight to see. And I would probably like to see adult Tyrannosaurus Rex probably be out in the open plain, probably chasing something, and I would say, that is the most spectacular thing I've ever seen. And probably, like modern birds, Tyrannosaurs were covered in feathers. And I know it's hard to say, I know it's hard to believe that, considering that all you guys out there that are Jurassic Park fans and also huge fans of dinosaur movies and books and magazines, you always think that, well, dinosaurs are always covered in scaly skin. There's no way that they could be covered in feathers. There's been good evidence to prove that these dinosaurs probably had feathers, considering that there's discoveries of Tyrannosaurus Rex ancestors like Guanlong, Dilong, and even the newly discovered dinosaur called Yutyrannus actually has shown that they were covered in feathers. And Yutyrannus so far is the largest tyrannosaur discovered to have feathers. But I would not be surprised that adult Tyrannosaurus Rex had feathers, probably around the head area, the arms, some parts of the tail, probably from here all the way down to the tip, and probably some on the back here too, because that way it could actually display to the males would actually be brightly colored, whereas the females would be dull colored, but they would still have feathers, but they're very dull color. Modern day birds, the males are brighter than the females. It's because they need to advertise to their mate, and that is the characteristic to birds that is very important, is that the males are there to advertise to the females. And since that it's my favorite dinosaur, I needed to do this episode because I just could not wait to do it. I just wanted to do it to show you guys this cool dinosaur, and also to get this out is that I'd say that Tyrannosaurus Rex is the most awesome and also the most ferocious predatory dinosaur that has ever lived on Earth. Alright, that's it for now, and just to remind you that I'll be heading to college pretty soon, and I'll still be able to do this show, and I will actually be open for any questions that you got by emailing me at dinocris71@gmail.com, or otherwise you can post them on on the Facebook fan page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Go to that fan page, like it, and also you can actually send a question, and I'll be able to answer it by the Facebook post. So hopefully you can give me a post or a question via email or the post on Facebook. And also you can follow me on Twitter at csgrawl. So that would actually give you a good window of what I tweet about, and it's mainly about dinosaurs. And I would actually be able to share with you guys a lot more videos, and also you would actually see me in my dorm room, and also probably do some more outdoor episodes, probably in an area where there's a little bit more sunlight. Because sorry about the low light on the last about that outdoor episode. It was just in a bad time of the day, but I mean, hey, what can you do? But alright, that's it for now. Remember to keep emailing me, and also post those questions on Facebook, and remember to take care of the people around you, and also all you young people out there, make sure to listen to your teachers, your parents, and your guardians. Those are your best motivation to have a good education. And it is very important to have a good education. Alright, that is sending you off with and also, as you can see here, new hat, Stan. That's the T-Rex I want to see the next time, and I will actually maybe someday I can actually go and see Stan sometime. Maybe I'll tape it for you guys. Alright, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys later.